Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and here's what's really made news this past week. Ass traps make the return of the century, with a new tournament held by the biggest hater of hand traps that there ever was. A series first from Konami representative Douglas Zeef in the latest episode of Master Saga. Konami's strongest soldiers are coming to kill your new monster type, and they've already claimed the life of one circular. And the vindication of the century, with a truly phenomenal product finally being appreciated. Yes, welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. As said, I am the one and only Gregory Feticus. This is your one and only disclaimer for this video. Most everything I say is a lie. That probably applies broadly, but I am speaking specifically about this video. There are exactly two things I'm going to tell you that are factual, that being the announcement of YCS Houston to take place in obviously Houston, Texas on the weekend of April 5th and 6th, and the fact that the Mulcharmy cards have come to Master Duel and we have yet another reason to doom post. But other than those two stories, I didn't really see anything worth talking about. So, as promised last week, I've elected to simply make things up and lie the entire time instead. So that's it. Apart from those two things, everything I say for the rest of this video is wrong. It is false, it is not true, it is a lie. It's been made up by a writer and made up by me at the same time, but I am not the writer that made it up, okay? This shit has been labeled, it has been addressed. I don't trust anyone to understand it, and Lord knows I don't trust anyone to just lean on my sarcasm to be able to tell that what I'm saying is blatantly not the truth. And if I hear about it beyond this, it's on all of you now, okay? I'm legally covered and this is legally binding. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the news! Streamer and sentient haircut Ludwig has announced a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament on Master Duel once again. He somewhat infamously held a tournament to celebrate the release of Master Duel 17 years ago, wherein he was the lone man brave enough to react to the existence of elemental hero Honest Neos in an appropriate manner, after he watched it use its effect to boost 2500 attack to ravage him, his tournament, and his mental state, all in sequential order. This turned him off from the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! For some time, but it's okay because he decided to improve his life by focusing exclusively on League of Legends, and what everyone agrees is truly a step in the right direction. But as the kids say, he's decided to run it back, announcing a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament with other popular streamers and YouTubers, of which you may have heard of at least one of them. The difference is, unlike last time, the decks have been truly catered to the Yu-Gi Boomer experience. So catered to, it's had to say cater 4 times. Limited to only half the cards released from the Legend of Blue Eye set that debuted in the TCG, the tournament will feature nothing but brain-dead vanilla monster mirrors and Trap Hole as the literal only form of disruption. However, that is still interaction, and you can of course expect to watch your favorite streamer of choice and 12 other people you've never heard of who make more money than you and will never see in your life play the single most brainless game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever existing on the planet. And to flex that money, the winner of the tournament will in fact get to murder the man who designed elemental hero Honest Neos. That's right, by utilizing the simple fact that you can buy freedom from the law, they're just going to broadcast a murder live on air for the creation of the 394th best hand trap in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! This is all wrapped up with yet another rant, of course, from Ludwig himself about the truth of this game and how trap cards belong only in the spell and trap zone, in a manner only mostly reminiscent of your uncle drunk at Thanksgiving ranting about the gays. And of course, with the obligatory misplays that are destined to happen anytime a duel is watched by streamers and broadcast online. And while you might wonder how could possibly be there a game where a misplay happens when Giant Soldier of Stone is like a tiered threat, don't you worry, we're talking about streamers. They will find a way to make a mistake. And speaking of misplays, Konami representative Douglas Zeef's infamous Saga series, where he plays diet decks against his friends, history happened in this week's episode when the statistical probability finally happened. In a series first for the 7th season of Man Yells at His Own Misplays Series 12, an entire episode went by without one single misplay. That's right, this past week's episode of the podcast that is Dougal Jamin's show featured not one incorrect play by any of the participants. It also marked a first for a number of Season 7 traits, such as musically bad theater kid not singing at all in the episode, Gage's mic not peaking at all, and Dougleberg didn't summon any worm monsters. Now, you might think that these changes would be appreciated, but unfortunately for Dugatello, his audience are in fact Z fans, meaning that there were obligations to nitpick and arbitrarily complain about every single aspect conceivable. Among the things complained about were the Season 6 banning strategy and system, the Season 7 banning strategy and system, and a hypothetical Season 8 banning strategy and system that doesn't even exist yet. Also, the number of packs opened, the number of packs not opened, and the fact that his cat was not allowed to chew on any wires. Doug Fiel offered no comment on if this could possibly become the new standard for the series, and when we reached out to Monkey Brain Thespian, only sent us this video in response.
Warning! Warning! If you are a child, you are not safe around me!
What a reasonable thing to say. Taking a break from practicing Elden Ring emotes in real life, Canadian man and the Spotify user with the most streams of the main ingredients Everybody Plays the Fool, Jesse Cotton, took to Twitter to confirm that the simple-minded meta sheep do in fact rule our game, or as some of you may know him, the world's champion. German man and train enthusiast Kid Carlos backed up Jesse over Twitter, confirming to the world that a cabal of elite Cybers haters run our game. Cybers is of course a diverse and beloved type known for its abundance of playstyles and strategies, and the unique and thrilling end boards that they all produce, cherished as the pinnacle of what Yu-Gi-Oh! Has to offer you as a game. Unfortunately, like the tweet that revealed all of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is rigged, this is simply the reality we must live with, and further incentivizes us to liberate our game by tweeting out how you are super secret better than everyone else and actually win all the time, it's just that we're all too dumb to notice you. And trending this week was discussion about the single best product Konami has ever released, the 2-player starter set. Please Konami, give us 28 more identical copies of this every day for the rest of our lives. I already have a video praising this as the fix that the game needs, and I was shown enlightenment in the comments after being told that new players are in fact far too stupid to even remotely comprehend Fiendish Chain. I had arrogantly assumed that effects are negated and can't attack would be simple enough to understand, but as it turns out, Konami was correct to neglect something as complex and over-the-top as Fiendish Chain and start the game out with 6 vanilla monsters on both sides, just like every game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That ever happens according to Ludwig's new tournament. Of course, the 2-player starter kit was able to tech in Eldritch the Golden Lord, thanks to the fact that it doesn't have Fiendish Chain, because as we all know, it's just so much easier to understand than the labyrinthian nightmare that is Fiendish Chain or a Blackwing Synchro monster from 2009. This set was brought into the limelight again by its raving review by a prominent YouTube channel known mostly for its guide on how to replay Pokemon games, where it went over the set and absolutely nothing else. Delving right into the product at hand, this video also praised the 2-player starter set for the value it brings not to players but instead to shareholders, thanking Konami for not giving new players a playmat, tokens, a field center, or anything to store their decks in beyond the flimsy box the set comes in. By skimping out on such high-expense items as literally anything else, Konami has ensured the bottom line for our most precious and important members of society, shareholders. As a proud supporter of the LGBT, it is important to me that we look out for our most oppressed minority that there is by giving new players absolutely nothing that could cost the company more than the bare minimum. This further cements the 2-player starter set as one of the greatest products made not just by Konami, but by humans in the history of all of consumerism, according to leading market analyst Mark Lapassis. And in an exciting piece of news not anticipated by anyone, Game Freak has announced that they're hard at work to produce an actually good Pokemon game, and one that will feel like it's worth the dollar value they charge you to buy it. This was of course announced in a tweet depicting Registeel walking calmly out of a cave, as a subtle reference to this scene from Junichi Masuda's favorite movie.
Mommy! Oh, Lily, I'm so glad to see you. I missed all of you, Mommy. Look, Santa's leaving.
Peace be with you all.
Thanks, Masuda. And so that wraps it up for this week's Real and True and Actual Factual Update. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee. Thanks for watching, and feel free to like, subscribe, and text my wife. Not only will you help the number go up, but also you'll have done those things, and you'll impress your smoking Italian wife and become a true duelist all in one go. What's not to love? See you next week when maybe we finally get some news.
My God,
from Clover,
what?
South Carolina, rocking majestic.
We've been
sports dragon is his
masturbated.
favorite